Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. If you're in the United States, we are back live. It's the penultimate round of the Operation Motorsport iRacing League. We are in Canada. We're at Mosport for round 8 of the Operation Motorsport iRacing Championship. I'm your host, Matthew Duffin, bringing you all the action as we go through it here on Apex Racing TV. Jonathan will be in the background once again, bringing you all the fantastic pictures, all the drama and all the throws and spills that we're going to get to see on screen today. And it should be an interesting one to see what we can look forward to at this very quick and small, short circuit. Mosport Park then opened in 1961. It is 2.5 miles or 4.1 kilometres, but it looks a fast circuit here in Canada. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic race, not to say the least, here as we get ready to go racing for the final time. Bit of a shorter grid tonight. No pro bends out there in the qualifying session at the moment. Only the 5 bends, 10 from the open class and 8 from the pro class. But it's going to be a wide open field and an interesting one to see what we can achieve here in Canada this evening. It's going to be, I think, a fantastic penultimate race to the season, because Championship's coming towards an end. Championship's coming towards a deciding factor this week, maybe into that final week, or if they've not already been done already based on calculations last week. It's going to be an interesting one with such a unusual circuit. None of your normal conventional corners really at Mosport here. I'm looking forward to seeing this one underway as we're on board at the moment with the Ford Mustang coming down the start at the back straight. Then there's the Acura of Robert Schwenkler. Bit of a poor showing last time out at Road America. He's got to hope for a better race this time around, you'd imagine. But, Ken Copeland, his teammate, if there was teams, there he is in the car in front in that Mercedes-Benz. What a strategy he pulled off last week to get the job done. We're seeing a few faces in the chat. A good friend of mine, Jamal Cloudon's in there. Good evening from the UK. He says, me and Jamal's actually just finished a bit of racing a few hours ago on a nice Sato Corsa, and we're here. He's obviously chilled out listening to the broadcast from the UK. Good evening to everybody who is tuning in all around the world this evening. Qualifying underway then. 2.5 minutes have gone in this session. This is Rodney Campbell. Good showing in the BMW M4 last time out. I'm interested to know which car will go pretty well around here. You see, it's a pretty good wide circuit, this. It's not too narrow. This is going to the final corner of that of white as time is coming in. At the moment, we've got Martin Wallace, who's just on top of the pro timing screens. Tyler Manning, the only driver who set a time in open, as Dan Fendick joins him there. Nolan Uke has put a time of a 16.5. The quickest time overall at the minute is Martin Wallace with a 15.8. As drivers starting to set them lap times, we're currently watching that of Martin Wallace as we drop down now to Tyler Manning, who said he'd be running a different livery for his home race. Well, there he is, a different livery once again. And he's rocking the blue and silver. Goes a little deep there. That's coming up in towards Moss. That's going to be the really tricky section of this circuit. That's guaranteed that we could see a few errors there. Maybe a few dive bombs from cars on entry into that corner. That's going to be a fascinating one to keep our eyes on as Gene Kelly moves up to second place from Jason Taylor, Robert Schwenkler, then Ken Copeland in that pro category. And remember, Ken Copeland didn't qualify well at all last week. He says that you've got to come into the race with preparation. He didn't prepare as well last week as what he'd have wanted. So he's going to be looking to do his bit around here. This is on board now with Nolan Uke, current pole sitter in that bend category. Two drivers in bend yet set a lap time. That is Richard Davenport and Tanner Masters as Tyler Reid moves up to second place in the open class. 4 drivers in that class yet set a lap time. Everybody's in and on track at the moment. So everybody currently looking to set lap times so far. That is a change in the pro category. Jonathan Labie in that Corvette moves up to 4th place. Tyler Beeman now moves up to pole position in the open category. So good luck from Tyler there as he returns to the pit lane. This is on board with the Corvette of Jonathan Labie, and there is Tyler Beeman. There is that lovely looking Corvette in that pro category though, coming through the Mosport Park. Downhill through the left hand. This isn't the tricky section then of that of Moss. You see why it is probably the hardest part on this track to get right. Apart from that, it looks a beautiful circuit here in Canada. It really does. Nice. Brandon Leonard's just gone up to P3 in the open class. Ken Copeland and Robert Schwenkler improving on their times to 1st and 3rd in the pro category. Chris Walsh has now gone up there. The aggressive Simon leaping to the top. And will he be able to stay there by the end of this session? Every driver bar 2, Rodney Campbell and Jacob Little, yet to set a time. Correct me, because Rodney Campbell has now gone to the top of the pro category. And it's a very, very tight grid at the moment. Jonathan Labie in the Corvette moves up to 6th place. So it is only Jacob Little without a lap time on the board. Richard Davenport moves up to 2nd in the bend category at the moment. Good evening to Hypertech in the chat, says good evening, Matt. I really want the Corvette to come to ACC. We all want the Corvette to come to ACC. Lydia's in there saying go TJ and Brad. And any fungus, hashtag 14 for home win. Right, we're at that stage of the qualifying session where we're going to bring you obviously a little word from our sponsors. Discord has recently updated this afternoon, so I've got to find out where everything is because it all looks different and new. I did have it open until I ended up watching the screen. Right, found it. Season 10 of Operation Motorsport, eMotorsport iRacing League. We're beyond excited to kick off another incredible year of racing. And this season we've got something very special. New for 2025, we are proud to announce that Operation Motorsport beneficiaries racing in the pro beneficiary and the beneficiary categories now have access to virtual coaching using Trophy.ai services. This partnership is designed to help these incredible competitors refine their skills and become even more competitive on the track, all while boosting their confidence off it. The initiative supports the eMotorsport Diversionary Therapy Program, which creates a thriving, supportive community for medically released service members, medically retired service members, and veterans with a service-connected disability, as recognised by the US Department of Veteran Affairs or Veteran Affairs Canada. It's a space where participants ranging from active duty to veterans can come together, train and race in an inclusive virtual environment. This season we have 15 Operation Motorsport beneficiaries competing, and we couldn't be prouder to have them on the grid. Let's show them the love as they continue to break barriers and redefine what is possible in the world of e-motorsport. Thank you as well to for the continued support from our partners CrowdStrike, Michelin and for that of Trophy.ai. Obviously the word we speak of our sponsors as we go through each week. We'll obviously bring you the beneficiary spotlight. not as long as last week. Got a nice, short and sweet, I think, tonight one is. I might add a little bit on the end for the driver who it is there. There's a bit of chat going off in there at the moment. So great to see. Keep any questions, any thoughts you've got coming in, keep them rolling in. This is a spinner there. That is one of the Acuras having a bit of moment. We are on board with that of Tyler Reid, who avoids Matteo. And Tanner Masters, by the way, all season has been chasing Carney in the Porsche. Carney's not here for the final 2 races. He's currently qualifying fourth, so he's not having the best of qualifyings at the moment, is Carney. This is Tyler Reid, second place at the moment. Ken Copeland's back to the top. Martin Wallace has just moved up to P4 in that pro category. The BMWs look a good car choice around here. As I say that, Tanner Masters makes me eat my own words. He moves up to second place in that beneficiary category, and he's only 4/10 off of the pole position. There he is in the pink. The pink Acura there, the aggressive salmon Acura. But it's interesting to see some of these. Copeland on a quick lap as he comes round the first quarter of a lap. And what can Ken Copeland do? In the AMG, one of the older cars, when you compare that to the new McLaren, the Corvette and the Ford Mustang, that with the Acura, one of the older cars. Gene Kelly moves up to 6th place. Tyler Reid goes pole in the Opa category, but Tyler Manning's had a couple of purple sectors. At the moment, he could be one to keep our eyes on for maybe taking that pole position back. This is Tyler Manning, the Corvette right in the way. He'll get a bit of slipstream down the start-finish line. What does Tyler Manning do? Not enough to improve. He improves his personal best time, not enough to take that pole position back. Chris Walsh is a purple sector there on his screen. Nobody really improving as we come into the last 30 seconds of qualifying now. So it's going to be very, very interesting to keep our eyes on. Chris Walsh again, personal best lap, keeps him P3 in the aggressive salmon. McLaren, you'd have thought he'd have had a pink livery running on that car as well to match the Acura. But the aggressive salmon running P3. Ken Copeland, purple first sector, no improvement in that middle. What's he going to do? Coming down in towards the final sector, goes purple again, sets another fastest lap, only by a little bit. And Ken Copeland is absolutely fired up for tonight's race. Brandon Leonard, personal best maybe just at the end. And drivers coming towards the end of their session. You see nobody's really putting in some impressive lap times at the moment. Kyle Shelton done, Louis Rios done, Tyler Manning. Next car to come towards the line. And what is he going to do? Martin Wallace, PB in that first sector. This is Louis Rios who pulls off. Tyler Manning not yet on an improved lap. Here is Martin Bob Wallace. Bob's in brackets, hence why I've just read that there. You can't see that on your screens, but it's on my timing screens. No improvement through the middle sector for Martin. Now he comes through in towards the final corner here at Mosport. Can he find any time? Needs 3/10 to take that pole position back. Improves on his lap time, it's going to be there. But is it enough? What about Jacob Little? He moves up to P3, does Martin Wallace. What about Jacob Little? Green through sector 1. Is it a PB enough to maybe take a couple of spots where he does improve at the very end? Just waiting for the timing screen to update. It does update, but he improves his lap time to stay P5. So that is your qualifying done for the penultimate round of the season here at Mosport Park then. Like we said, in Canada, it's a beautiful circuit. It was built, or it was opened in 1961. Canada's first permanent motor racing facility. It's only a handful of circuits that is in Canada, and it hasn't been changed in the 60 years that it since it opened up. It hasn't been altered, the layout at all. So the layout is exactly as it was way back when it was built. It's going to be an interesting one to see what the racing is going to be like here, for sure. Because we've got Turn 1, which doesn't have a name. So we'll just call it Turn 1. You then come into Turn 2 of Clayton, long left-hander. A lot of these corners are long sweeping corners. So Turn 1 sweeps to the right. Turn 2 of Clayton sweeps to the left. You go through Turn 3 of Quebec. A little tighter in the middle part of the corner. Then you get the run uphill. You come to the left. And then you get Moss at Turn 5 and 6. But it is Ken Copeland, your pole sitter from Rodney Campbell, P2. Martin Wallace is P3 with Chris Walsh, P4. Tyler Reid, P5. And he is your open category pole sitter. Robert Schwenkler, P6, with Tyler Manning, P7, second place in open category. Tyler Beeman, P8, and he's P3 in the open category. P9 for Gene Kelly, Jonathan LeBee, P10. Nolan Yook will be P11. He's your pole sitter in the beneficiary class. Jason Taylor, P12, with Brandon Leonard 13th. Jacob Little, P14. Louis Rios, second place in class, but 15th on the grid. And Tanner Masters, P16. And rounding out the back of the field then, P18 for Richard Davenport, P17. Kyle Shelton, P18, P19, Brandon Mateo. Dan Fendick, P20. John Hicks, P21. Christopher Pugliese in 22nd. And Charles Boschel, P23. Charles obviously was with us in the commentary booth a while back, and it's going to be an interesting one to see what he can do in this race. Remember, he was back in the commentary booth back at Daytona with myself, very first round of this season. 2 races left of this championship, and it's going to be an interesting watch, that is for sure, as the drivers are going to prepare to get underway on their formation lap then. And now we get to see the interesting layout. This is more for Jonathan. Let's try and go on board with Ken Copeland if we can on this formation lap. Let's just take you through. So we've gone through turn 1. A nice steady lap. We get to take in the sights just until the end of what this track is. So you're coming now through Clayton, which is a long left-hander. You can imagine that at speed that this is going to be an interesting track to pick up and to try and take. Through there you go. You then pick up this of Quebec. You see the track map, Jonathan. He's on the ball tonight already, and we've not even got the replays for all the action. Come through Quebec then, and as you can see, it just tightens at mid-corner. That's where it's going to really try and catch drivers out. You've got a bit of a stretch now to try and get the run on another driver, get that momentum out of Quebec as you head up through this little left-hand, drop down and then back up through this left-hand kink. That is where you're going to then find Moss. And this is where it gets really tricky, because you've got to pick your braking zone just right. Look how tight this corner is through the right-hander. Don't want to run out too wide. Little gravel trap out there. Not a lot of run off to the wall. Second of the right-handers. And then you've got the Mario Andretti straightaway. Little curvature to it, so it's not a complete straight line. It's obviously up and downhill, a bit undulated as well. The Mario Andretti straightaway that's curved. Either way, a lot of up and downhill to it, bit bumpy, so it's got a lot of undulation underneath the car. And this is going to be the key opportunity to get that big run down the back straight. Try and follow the leader maybe, or follow the guy you're in a fight with. Try and get in that slipstream and pull out from behind as you head into the S's then, which aren't your traditional S's in terms of like a chicane or, you know, like a Maggots Beckett section of Silverstone, to say the least. You come right here, very long right-hander once again, and then all of a sudden, just towards the end, you'll flick it back to the left for this part, which really does start to tighten as you come through. You then want to head to the left-hand side of the circuit and flick it into the final corner of White's. But that was a lap of then the Mosport Park. This, though, is the start of the race, and we are for round 8 of the Operation Motorsport iRacing League. Green and go. They've already got underway before the lights have come off the screen, and it's a great start once again from that of Ken Copeland out front. He's not having to try and keep cars in between him and save that fuel like he has done before. He's all attack at the moment. Rodney Campbell sticking with him. Chris Walsh as well. That is one of the Porsches. That is Martin Wallace off on the grass, with Robert Schwenkler moving up into P4 in the Acura. There we see in the Ford Mustang going side by side. I believe that's Beeman going side by side with Martin Wallace now. Tyler Manning just watching on in the background. There's the Corvette as well of Jonathan Labie. And Martin Wallace right back round the outside as they all come up into Moss for the first time, and they try to go 3 wide, can't do so, but all managed to keep it squeaky clean for the time being. Using that bit of runoff on the exit of the corner there then is that McLaren, now with the Ford Mustang. Beeman on the back of Manning, already in the slipstream coming down the back part of the straight. The Mustang's already pulled out here on Mario Andretti straightaway. He'll be on the outside by the time he gets to the corner. But is that Ford Mustang going to power in front before the braking zone? It's not powered in front as much as he'd have maybe liked. And now into the S as they come. That is then Labie watching on in the background in this in the Pro category. You can tell it's Pro. It's got the blue sun visor and the wing mirrors on his car, as opposed to red for Open and the green for the beneficiary class. But at the minute, Tyler Manning retakes that lead of the Open category. This is down with Nolan Uke, your race leader in the beneficiary category. 45-minute race, pit stops to be had in this race as well. And here's Nolan Uke then leading in that BMW M4, just following the Ford Mustang at the moment, with Louis Rios right behind him. That is the Ford Mustang of the pro driver, Jason Taylor. Then a little down the order for Jason Taylor. Not where he'd have wanted to be at all, but Nolan Uke, so far so good at the start. In towards Moss again. Here's Brandon Leonard, one of the Acuras, fighting Matteo. The up and under gets the job done at Moss. Got the Lamborghini just behind of John Hicks, and the two Acuras here then going wheel to wheel at the Mosport Park here in Canada. And this is for position as well for 6th and 7th in the open category. You got the Lamborghini of Hicks in the Ben category, sat behind, on board with the Acura now as it comes in towards the S's. Hard on the brakes there from Leonard. From Matteo, sorry, and just manages to open up his gap. That's a car off there on the inside of the left-hander. Not sure who that is. That is one of the BMWs. I believe that may be Richard Davenport. Davenport there. It is Richard Davenport. Because that's now put Hicks on the back, and this is the replay of what happened to Davenport then. He's all on his own at the moment. Down the Mario Andretti straightaway. Baby got track. Great name. Oh, just loses it on entry. Carried way too much entry speed into the corner and loses the rear end. He's done very, very well not to put that in a wall or not to have a bigger moment there, has Davenport, but it's lost him a handful of places. It's put him behind the two Acuras of Matteo and Leonard, who are having a good scrap at the moment. Here's Walsh, P3 in pro and overall at the moment, trying to keep up with... he's got Schwenkler trying to keep up with him in his Acura. Schwenkler will want to be putting behind him the bad week he had last week. Wanting to focus on this race and on what he can do in it. Looking for another podium, will Schwenkler be? That is for sure. His teammate Copeland, obviously no teams in this, but they are in the same racing stable. They've had a great bit of a battle. This is on with Reed, P3 at the moment in the open class. He's got Gene Kelly behind him, Jonathan Leby in front, Jason Taylor in the pro class just behind the Porsche as well. So Reed, 3rd place in open, but he's in the middle of a pro fight here. This is a pro fight for P6. Now don't forget, there's no points for overall, it's points per category. So you score for where you finish in your class, not for overall race result. So these drivers really got to be careful with each other, because they don't want to make contact with another category driver. Could really sort of hurt them in terms of penalties or what not, especially when you're not racing them for points. As we saw there, Reed got onto the back of Leby in that Corvette. And now down the Mario Andretti straightaway once again. That Porsche is just using its slipstream and the traction out of Moss to get a good run up the inside in towards the S's. And this is Wallace, and this is the Porsche trying to go up the inside now. It's Reed it's Reed being overtaken by the Porsche of that of Gene Kelly, who makes a great move there. Got the run, used the slipstream down the straightaway and pulls the move off. Now Jason Taylor's going to need to do the same thing to Reed, because he's going to want to make sure that he can get or follow that of Gene Kelly through to attack that of Leby with him. There was a few changes there on the timing screen, so I'm not sure what happened there, but a lot of drivers seem to change in that open category. I don't notice anything out of the blue there though, so I'm not too sure. Pugliese has already pitted, it's saying on my time screen. Was in there for 17 seconds, so he's already served his pit stop. I'm sure he may have to pit again, not 100% sure. We'll see later in the race. There we go, he's had an off track. We're going to see if we can grab the replays. That may have been for a bit of damage to be repaired. That would explain why he was in the pits early on in this race then. But down the Mario Andretti straightaway goes Reed again. This is the replay. So let's take a look at the off track here. This is Pugliese in that blue and red McLaren into Moss. Missed his brakes, yeah. Okay, that's not too bad. He got overtaken by it, missed his brakes, but yeah, Now, that wouldn't suggest why he's been into the pit lane for 17 seconds. We'll keep an eye on Pugliese. He's back out on the track circulating. This is Walsh and Schwenkler, though. P3 and 4 at the moment in this pro category. Good train of cars behind. In fact, there is Pugliese, look, just in behind. Ooh, a bit of a wiggle there from Walsh coming through the corner. As you see the lap car of Pugliese, they're just not yielding out the way in the background. Oh, there's a spinner, that's LeBee. So he was having a fight with Gene Kelly, and now he's had a moment. There's Tanner Masters, who's just gone past him. We're going to try and get a replay of this one as well. This will be an interesting watch because we did see that Gene Kelly was gaining close to the back. Was there contact made? Just on the curb. Nothing. Oh, a little late lunge. No, side by side. There's the tap. There's the tap. Just wondering if we can bring a bit of an overhead shot on that one maybe to see what the contact was. Because that looked pretty clean, to be fair. It just looked like a little bit of a tap at the moment. Here we go then. Let's take a look overhead then on the helicopter camera. So the Corvette on the outside. Porsche makes a great lunge up the inside. Possibly a bit of, maybe a bit of netcode involved in that one. But yeah, that's just hard racing, and sadly there for LeBee, he's came off worse. But yeah, you've got to put that one down to hard racing. Nobody looked like they did anything wrong there. And now we're back on with Nolan Duke. That's a Mustang who's all out of shape. Who is that? That is Jason Taylor, all sideways, opposite lock. Managed to hang on to it. Well held, my friend. That is a brilliant piece of car control, but he was all out of shape coming through there. And look at the queue of Ford Mustangs lining up to attack Nolan Duke. But that was a scary moment for Taylor there, and he manages to hang on to it well in this race. This is Little. He's got Reed up the road, and he has got Shelton not far behind him. So for Jacob Little in the Ford Mustang, chasing down the number 10 in the Ben category, and that is Louis Rios just in front. Into the S's, looks to the outside, gets a bit of momentum to pull alongside, does he? Just about. Rios gives him the room and respect. Contact made in the wall hard. And well, you have to put that one down to Little. Louis Rios gave him plenty of room. And Louis Rios now, and Jacob Little here cannot move. This is a look back at what happened. So look at this. He gets a great slingshot. Great bit of momentum around the outside. Keeps it up the inside. Just carries too much speed, look. And he just comes straight into the side of Louis Rios. Rios had gave him a lot of space there. You couldn't ask for any more room. You could have parked a bus next to him. It was that wide. But into the pits now comes the Ford Mustang of Little. That puts to bed that battle. But there's a Ben Mustang. There's an Open Mustang. And there's the Pro Mustang. And then there's a BMW. That is Nolan Duke, who is now down into P2 and he's been overtaken by Louis Rios. We'll try and bring you a replay of what happened there. Has a bit of an off track. He's dropped behind two of the Mustangs as well as we get the replay for you now. What happened to Nolan Duke then? So he's coming through. He's got the Ford Mustang in front from the Open class. Oh, that is Pugliese, and there goes the rear, look, just stepping out. And that is how the three Mustangs got past. Pugliese off track there, maybe letting the leaders through as he's a lap down. That's not the first time we've seen a car lose the rear of the car through that section of the circuit. So drivers just pushing the limits maybe a little bit too much in the rear, not wanting to comply with what the driver is asking it to do. But Louis Rios now, not only was he just involved in that tap with Little, he's managed to now take the lead of the Ben category because of it. And Christopher Pugliese back in the pit lane, just making sure that everybody else is lapping. I believe they all are. Jacob Little is back out on track at the moment. So Nolan Duke trying to head and hunt down after Louis Rios as they come up through Moss. For the ninth time of asking, a little wiggle there from Rios. Just got to be careful now. Got the two Mustangs behind him. Doesn't want to make an error. Wants to keep it nice and tidy at the moment. He leads in this category, let's not forget. So Rios at the moment, we're looking at an incident maybe between LeBee and Leonard. And this could be why LeBee is back in the pit lane. So this is Leonard. LeBee, remember, I believe, is the Corvette. He's dropped it into Moss. Oh, no. Oh, no. And that car just didn't want to turn or anything there. So for Moss, that's a horrible, horrible incident. LeBee's got back going. So this is the replay of LeBee. Look, he drops the car. Oh, he just puts the accelerator on right at the very death. He applies a bit of accelerator that moves him forward. I think Moss would have got through had it not been for that. But Brandon Leonard, I believe it was, possibly, was it? Yeah, Brandon Leonard, sorry, who is in the pit lane. That could be his race done. Jason Taylor also in the pits in the pro category. Pugliese has pitted twice. Jacob Little's been in the pits. So where's LeBee? LeBee didn't pit after that incident, so he's still going. This is what happened to Taylor. So that is Nolan Uke, who's just overtaken Taylor. And obviously Nolan Uke trying to head down after Louis Rios. Oh, there we go. Big snap. Big snap. And huge impact into the wall on the rear. Drivers are struggling on their approach down to turn 2. They are really finding it difficult through that section of the circuit at the moment. So look at this. Through turn 1. They come into 2 now. Watch the rear start to go. There. And then he, bang, snap. That's a huge tank slapper. And into the wall. And what he's done there is the rear's gone light on him. He's reacted to catching the rear. And as he's caught the rear, the fuel in the car splashes against the other side of the tank. Doesn't want to do that. Bang. Sends the car the opposite way around. And that's a huge impact for Taylor into the wall. And that could be his race done. Pugliese and Brandon Leonard are back out on track, as is Jacob Little. I'm just wondering if we could see LeBee for a quick moment, because he'll be running out, around there with no front end, I do believe. He's not pitted, so here is LeBee. Look, no front end on that car. And he's still driving around at the minute. Now, the aero performance from this will be horrid down the Mario Andretti straightaway. He is not going to get much top speed out of this Corvette. Surprised he hasn't pitted. Obviously waiting for the pit stops to become optimum at the time. So an interesting one to see what LeBee will be able to get out of this race. He's already some 18 seconds behind Gene Kelly. Obviously he's not going to come last in category. That will go to Taylor, who I believe is out of this race. Jason Taylor in the chat, actually. Is that the same Jason Taylor? I had to check up on the guy in front. He said you could just see that as he's braked to avoid the back, he's just lost the rear. Oh, this is LeBee's replay so this is earlier in the race when he gets tapped by the Porsche. So that one racing incident, hard racing, unfortunate for LeBee. And then obviously it was the one with the Acura that we could see on the helicopter camera. So he comes up into Moss now. He's going to obviously lose the rear all on his own mid-corner. Just carrying too much speed through. Rear goes light. Round he comes, look. Brakes. Moves forward. And it's that last little jolt. Yeah, that's a shame. That is a shame. So they fight for the lead in the open category. A battle of the Tylers. Manning in the McLaren, Beeman in the Mustang. As they are 1 and 2 in the open category. Coming through. This is looking back from Manning's McLaren, who's been on a good bit of form as Manning recently. We're also not a million miles away of Martin Wallace in the Porsche. There is Wallace, you can see there, look. Very tricky section of corners that is there through Moss. Just completely throws you off as you come uphill. Blind entry into the right hander there. Schwenkler not far up the road as well. So Manning and Beeman here having a good showing in the open category. And we'll keep an eye on their fight throughout the rest of this race. This is on board with Beeman. Mustang gaining a little bit through the S's. Now into the final corner of white. On to the accelerator, down the start line they come here at over under the Michelin Bridge. Obviously one of the proud sponsors. A lot of curb on the entry there for Beeman. Gets a demon run through turn 1 in towards turn 2. This is where drivers have been struggling recently. No problems for him. Exit there. Now we're going to head in towards turn 3. Watch it tighten mid-corner. Now we're going to head up towards Moss with Manning in the McLaren, still ahead of Beeman in that Ford Mustang at the moment. Oh, Jason Taylor is back out on track. So that's great to see. Still no go at the moment. We are as we were last time around between these two. Tyler Manning. We got to speak with Tyler Manning last week. Privileged to speak with Tyler. He's got that McLaren hooked up at the moment in a straight line. Mustang actually gains on him a little bit through the corners now. Whether that's the way that Manning's got the car set up or Beeman's just a little bit more confident through the corners, but he's got a little closer coming through the final corner this time round. Beeman definitely not afraid to run the curbs in that great big Ford Mustang. Campbell and Walsh are having a bit of a scrap for P2 and 3, so Walsh has managed to pull away from Schwenkler and has really been closing in. Look, 6 tenths, 4 tenths, 2 tenths, 3 tenths on the back of Rodney Campbell now. So Chris Walsh. Oh, a flash of the lights there. There we go. As in the UK, we'll be thinking that is very touring car style from Walsh. With a cheeky flash of the lights when you're not really close enough to make a manoeuvre. That is such the British touring cars. And Walsh here clearly looking to try and distract Campbell at any opportunity he can to maybe just put him off a little bit to make the overtake. Got a good bit of slipstream as that McLaren now. Copeland's put a lap on one of the Ford Mustangs. That might be Jacob Little he's just put a lap on. And Walsh right around the outside of Campbell. What a move from the McLaren driver into the S's right around the outside. Such a brave move from Chris Walsh. And he moves up to P2. And the aggressive Salmon is on a charge right now. What was the last lap time? 2 tenths slower. He's not lapping much slower than Ken Copeland. This is a replay of the overtake again. Look at this. In that slipstream, coming down the Mario Andretti straightaway. Chris Walsh, he's going to jink to the left. Or glide to the left. It was more a glide than a jink. But right around the outside. And then just pulls back in. Pulls back in, takes the apex of the corner like it is nobody's business. That is a fantastic bit of driving from the young man. And Chris Walsh now heads after Ken Copeland. Schwenkler's also sort of got onto the back of Campbell here, so this has invited Schwenkler into play. Tanner Masters has had a moment. Tanner Masters is in the pit lane. No, come on, he's not here. He has a great chance to win. What has happened to Tanner Masters? Turn 2, rear goes light. No, okay. On the exit, rear went light, and you saw again there that it's that tank slapper almost, as if he's gone to catch the initial slide, and bang, the fuel has just slapped him the other way around. What is happening here? That is a slow Acura. A little off time. Mateo's had a few off tracks. He's got Labie catching him. Running in the 2025 edition of the Corvette. No front end on that thing. I've actually done too bad in a straight line to keep up with the Acura. I mean, the Acura's not great in a straight line, granted, but Corvette's done all right there. That must be handling awful for Jonathan Labie. So Masters out the pits. He's 27 seconds behind that of Higgs. This is on board with Labie. And you just see that Acura just pulling away. Really pulled away now is the Acura. You can just see the handling for Labie. Look at him. It's not. He's almost chopping at the wheel. Oh, he's wide. The Acura's on the grass. Jonathan Labie. Easy as you like. Up the inside. Great move from the new edition of the Corvette there, but you could just see on the steering wheel, he's chopping at the wheel for so many attempts there. As this is Tyler Manning and Tyler Beeman have caught Martin Wallace in the pro category. At the moment, by the way, the open category, Tyler is on the podium, 1, 2, and 3. So they're doing really well at the moment, all the Tylers, and they're heading after Wallace on the pro class, who I believe is technically 5th overall, if I'm not mistaken. Jonathan Labie now finally enters the pit lane. That's about right, though. We are about halfway through this race. So Hicks is also in, so Labie will be coming in to fix that car, no doubt. As the mechanics will magically put a new front end on the car in no time. Bang. There we go. It's almost like a magician. Sim racing. You gotta love the physics of pit lanes at times, the way that it just magically reappears all the bumpers. But this is Tyler Manning on the back now of Martin Wallace. Great little fight this has been. And this has been, I think, one of the best talking points of the season. You're not watching fights for category. You're watching some epic battles between different categories. Walsh and Campbell into the pit lane. Martin Wallace has came into the pits as well. So 3 from pro in. That's Release Schwenkler. So it's 3 from pro in. Just keep my eyes on the timing screen. Can't see anybody else pitting at the moment. Yeah, I think Copeland is going to save the fuel, breeze through, pick up the places, and away he goes. Walsh ahead of Campbell, ahead of Wallace as they exit the pit lane. Jason Taylor, by the way, still only a lap down, so he could gain on Labie in this race. We'll keep our eyes on that. That's Tyler Reid on Gene Kelly. So this is 3rd place Tyler on what is effectively 3rd place pro Gene Kelly at the moment. So Tyler Reid looking to go a bit longer at the moment. And seeing if he can jump the other 2 Tylers. These 2 Tylers who have been this close for about 5 or 10 minutes now. And they both are straight into the pit lane. Did that Mustang just clip the wall? I'm not sure. It's a very tight pit entry. Don't think he did. Boschel leaving the pits there in the Corvette in front of them. So the Tylers are in. All 3 Tylers are in. So a lot of people pitting at the same time today. We normally see people pit a bit more sporadically. They're all pitting at the similar time. Nolan Yukin, he's looking for that undercut on Louis Rios. Copeland, Schwenkler and Gene Kelly still to pit. A couple of drivers. Kyle Shelton stayed out. Dan Fendick and Brandon Mateo still to pit. Tyler Manning and Tyler Beeman on their way out. Who's that one in? That is Richard Davenport. He's into the pits from 3rd place in the Ben category. Tanner Masters done his pit stop. Tyler Reid in there for a little longer than the other 2 Tylers. He's on his way out now. And Tyler Manning actually got a bit of daylight between himself and Tyler Beeman. Nearly a second between them. This is the problem now, though. Look at some of this traffic that they've put themselves in after making their pit stops. So huge bit of traffic for these drivers. 25 minutes into this race, just under 20 minutes left to go in this penultimate round of the season here on iRacing for the Operation Motorsport E-League. It's been so far a pretty good fight. Kelly into the pits from P3 in Pro. Kyle Shelton and Louis Rios in then, the leader of the beneficiary category. So a few more drivers making their pit stops this lap. And I just wonder if Schwenkler's maybe took a leaf out of Copeland's book and just saved a little bit of fuel, running a little bit longer, trying to get that jump on Campbell and most definitely probably Walsh. That I assume is going to be his goal. I just wonder if that's why he was maybe struggling to get past him. Just fuel saving, trying to get by, trying to get the fuel to last as long as it possibly can. We're at that halfway stage of the race. I think it's only time now to do the beneficiary spotlight. Again, I've lost. There we are. Tanner Masters is today's beneficiary spotlight. Father of 4 and a career firefighter. He did 9 years of active duty in the Air Force in the fire protection. He now makes comic books and likes to build performance cars. So Tanner, again, we say it every week, thank you for your service to your country's armed forces or Air Force, or whatever it may be. And yeah, obviously not from the US, but I do appreciate the men and women that serve their countries in the armed forces. Tanner Masters there then. So comic books, interesting. I wonder if he's had any published at the moment. Schwenkler into the pits, or leaving the pitch, sorry. Tyler Manning rocking the Canadian plaid on the car as well. So we'll have to try and see that. And look at that, Schwenkler there. He's jumped Campbell and he's on the back of Walsh. So if he was doing a bit of fuel saving, then it's worked an absolute treat for him. Ken Copeland pits from the lead of the race and had a pretty comfortable lead. You wouldn't imagine that's going to be touched in this race, because he's so far done what he's done all season, and the strategies are normally perfect for Ken Copeland. And we're just looking at pit stop time. Chris Walsh actually 18 seconds in the pits. There's no wonder Schwenkler gained on him. And 13 seconds for Copeland. Out the pits he goes, off the limiter, and the other drivers was only just entering the final corner. He was 5 seconds quicker than Walsh in the pits. So he's gained an extra few seconds over Schwenkler, 4 over Campbell and Wallace. He's gained 5 seconds over Walsh. That is a huge margin to gain in the pit lane. And Ken Copeland then, he's done this all season as well. Just saved the fuel, and he's just managed to get by to the pit stops and get in. Fendick in, Taylor back into the pit lane, but Schwenkler here putting the pressure on that of Walsh for P2 overall and in pro. Campbell's right with him as well. Schwenkler and Campbell had a bit of a scrap, if you remember last week, back to Road America. We're having another one here today. Coming up to the half an hour mark. 15 minutes left of racing here. 23 laps have gone at the Mosport Park. And what a bit of driving we've seen. We've seen some great manoeuvres today, especially here at the S's. This is P2 though, or the battle for P2. Chris Walsh, Robert Schwenkler and Rodney Campbell. McLaren, Acura, BMW. Oh, bit of a slide there from Schwenkler. You just see the little correction on the steering wheel. He turned right and it just had to catch a bit to the left. This is where the drivers have struggled today. And interesting to see the two different lines there. Schwenkler kept it nice and tight. Walsh happy to just let it run sort of middle of the road and keep it going sort of thing. That's what I like about these kind of race circuits. You get to see the different lines and the different perspectives from each driver. And that, to me, just shows, what the drivers' different driving styles are. Not everybody's driving styles are the same. Chris Walsh obviously didn't feel like he wants to keep the tighter line. This is now Tyler Reid on the back of Gene Kelly still. So they're having their little fight. That is one of the Acuras behind them. It is a lap down. It's the purple Acura. Oh, it's just had a bit of a moment there. That's the one that had the moment with LeBee coming through that section just a moment ago. So we've got the fight. Tyler Beeman still on the back of Manning. This is the fight, not for position overall, but for a pro battle and Tyler Reid. This is Tyler Manning and then that of Tyler Beeman. You can see the Canadian flag on the bottom of the McLaren, or the plaid, sorry. Which I'm being told in my ear is a Canadian third. So I'm glad you've explained that one because I did not know what that meant. Tyler Beeman, he's kind of done this all race, hasn't he, at the moment? He's got this close through the corners. And then the minute they get onto the Mario Andretti straightaway, he just seems to lose all time. Look, the gaps open up just a little bit on that section of straight. Coming through this part now, look how close he gets back to the rear. And Tyler Manning can just power out of there and get away from the Ford Mustang. Yeah, not really what Beeman's going to be wanting, but still 14 minutes left, so might not be mounting a proper attack just yet in this race. But this is for the lead and second place in the open category. We've got that three-way fight in Pro for second place. Tyler Manning won the last two races, been on a bit of a roll in the open category. Lap time's not too far off. That's his last lap match out of Ken Copeland in the Pro class. And if we actually look, Robert Schwenkler gained 3/10 over Chris Walsh on that last lap alone. So interesting to see there. Here they are. There's the lap time differentials between the two drivers. They've just started to pull a little gap back to Campbell as well. So that's made this a two-horse fight at the moment. Well, the Acura, not a great run. And now all of a sudden that's brought Campbell into play with Schwenkler. Over the McLaren. No Pro Bens out there tonight. If you're wondering where the Pro Bens are, there's not a driver of theirs on the circuit. Sadly tonight. Hopefully they'll be back with us for the final race of the season. And I believe in America as well. I believe it is Sonoma this weekend for the start of the American GT series. So it'll be an interesting one if drivers are out at Sonoma to watch that. So this is back to the lead in the open class. Tyler Beeman in the Mustang as Manning runs wide on the exit of turn one. Just drops a wheel or two on the grass there. Now a little wide into turn two. And all of a sudden for Beeman, he is right there. Schwenkler's got past Walsh on the timing screens. We're going to stay with this fight though, because we're going to see what Beeman can do. We'll try and get a replay back of the Schwenkler-Walsh fight in a moment. But Beeman not able to capitalise on that turn one mistake. He's got as close as he's been all race. And now that McLaren's just going to power away out the corner. Look at it. Not yet, he hasn't. Tyler Beeman's still there. Now the Ford seems to have got a better run, so maybe he's got a better run out the corner. Louis Rios has overtaken Nolan Uke for the Ben category lead. So we'll have to try and bring you a picture of that as well. So this is how Schwenkler got past Walsh in the Pro category. Just a little wide coming through turn two on the grass. He's not close enough there. That's put him offline into turn three. And he's wide again. So twice he'd ran wide in two corners. Big moment. Well saved from him. There you see the fight we was watching in the background. I think Nolan Uke's had an off. This is turn two. All fine through turn two, thankfully. Turn three. Oh, wow. Rear goes light again. These drivers just struggling with the conditions here at Mopoc. And there goes Louis Rios in that red, white and blue Ford Mustang and takes over the Ben lead in the race. This is the lead though. 4P1 in the open category. Campbell's on the back of Walsh now, still trying to stick Schwenkler. Yuki still with Rios. We've got Fendick and Matteo there. Just a flash on your screen was that Walsh and Campbell fight. Tyler Beeman, he just can't seem to get close enough to get alongside at the moment. Just struggling to do that. If he can get that little bit close enough, he should be able to get the move done. This is Louis Rios. He's on the back of Kyle Shelton. who's P4 in the open category. And this will hopefully help him pull away a little bit more from Nolan Uke. There's, oh, what's happened to Schwenkler? He's lost out 2 places, to Walsh and to Campbell. Oh, he's in the wall. And he's the wrong way. This could make an interesting replay. Let's take a look at what happened then. So he's coming into turn 2. Gone a little deep. Keeps it tight. Just on the grass. Oh, on exit. Oh, that's huge. Off the floor as he bounces over the curb. Robert Schwenkler. Turn 2 has caught everybody out tonight. Whether it's on entry, mid-corner or exit. It has punished everybody tonight. And that for Rob Schwenkler, well, that is the end of his podium chances, because that car's not going to be working the same. He's probably going to have to bring that into the pit lane to get some repairs done. That was a huge hit into the wall. Bounced off the curb, off all 4 tyres. Beeman cannot get close enough to Manning, though. He just needs to get that half a tenth closer just to get a run on him. This is on board Schwenkler, so let's take a look here then. He's coming into turn 2. Nice and easy. No corrections on the wheel. All fine so far. Car has a little moment. Bang, bang, bang. And it all happened that quickly, and there was nothing he could have done to not make that happen. He couldn't have caught that at all. And it was the smallest of wiggles from the rear that he's just had to catch. And it slapped it around. He is into the pit lane. So that is Schwenkler's day done. Might give Jonathan Leby the chance to make up an extra spot. We'll wait and see. So this is the fight for the open class race lead. Apologies if I keep it quiet tonight, chat. And viewers, got a bit of a sore throat, so I keep having to cough. I don't want you guys to hear that, so I'm having to just mute the mic, take a sip of the drink. So apologise if I am going a bit quieter than normal. But this then is Manning in that McLaren, leading from Beeman. The Tylers. And this is as close again as Beeman has been. He just needs, again, this is what I mean, look, he needs that half a tenth just to be having his nose, having a look up the inside. Now coming into the tricky section of the track. He just drops that little bit too far back there through Moss. Now on the Mario Andretti straightaway. And this is where that McLaren, which I'm very surprised that Ford Mustang doesn't pull alongside that McLaren. But it's coming slowly, just creeping onto the back here as we enter the final 5.5 minutes. Beeman doing exactly what he needs to do. Whoa, great exit, but just ran out of room to get the run from the on the back of the McLaren there. Didn't want to run into the back of him. Bit of grass being kicked up there. That could be Walsh and Campbell, because they're the cars in front having their own scrap. There they are. So there was 2 that was possibly kicking up just a little bit of grass. Walsh a little wide again. Look in the background there is Beeman and Manning. Uke still within 4/10 of Louis Rios. And Ken Copeland, 11 seconds. He has pulled the master plan once again. Here is Uke on the back of Rios. Whoa, 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 he's had a big slide, Nolan Uke. That's put that to bed. Nolan Uke, mid-corner there, you just started to see him slide and hit the wall hard. That could give Tanner Masters a second place. Let's take a look at a replay. You can just see Nolan Uke here, look, mid-corner. Watch the car just start to slide now. And then bang, one destination, and that was the wall. And that'll help Tanner Masters. There he is in the background, look. Already gained on Davenport, on Nolan Uke, sorry. Beeman definitely running that car set up through the corners compared to Manning, who's probably running a little less downforce. Got that straight line speed instead of focusing on the corner speed through this circuit. Look at Uke there, just struggling with that M4. Does not want to turn left. He pulls to the pit lane anyway. And that will be the end of his race. You imagine Davenport's going to take that P3 away from Nolan Uke. So back to Manning and back to Beeman. 3 minutes to go, and this fight has been going on for the last 20 minutes, I'd say, easily. And it's not changed. Even Hicks looks like he's going to get past Nolan Uke. So Hicks will move up to P4. What a shame for Uke, having a great race. No Carney, the chance for drivers to take an opportunity to win. Turn 2 has absolutely hurt him there. But again, Beeman's just pulled that gap on the straights just enough to put a bit of daylight between himself and the Mustang. Now look at how close Beeman gets. He'll know that time is running out and he is really close to the back. What are we lapping? 1 minute 15. So I think we've got... Where's the leader? Got at least 2 laps left to go. This has been a fascinating fight, and it's well worked by Manning because he's defended really well. This is Copeland. Will be back in the pit lane. They just saw he's exited, so I'm not sure why this time. But here is Ken Copeland then, who has just been in control of this race. Be and Taylor have now got past Schwenkler. We think that Robert Schwenkler has had another incident. Let's have a look at it. So this just came out the pits. He's with Martin Wallace. Up the inside of Wallace. Oh dear. Oh dear. And bang, just repaired the Acura. And then he's gone into the wall again. And for Schwenkler, that's his day done, I reckon. So he's fighting with Martin Wallace and have that second contact. Jumped to the pits, didn't drive into the pits, just jumped to the pits. And well, this is going to be fascinating to see how this one ends, because we've got... Where is Copeland? Coming to the back part of the circuit now. I think there's one more to go. He's in the final corner now, so he is taking the white flag. Was he? Gets a bit close to the back marker there. And I believe that's Davenport running P3 in the open class. So 1 to go. And here comes Manning and Beeman, who come into the final corner. And they take the white flag now as we enter the final lap of this race. So Beeman's got to do it now. He's got no other choice. He's on the grass. He's on the grass. Pushing hard to try and get the momentum. He's still got an opportunity. He's still there. He's still within that 3/10. His car is a lot better than that McLaren through the corners. And Manning, at the moment, just doing everything he can to be a nuisance, put the car exactly where it needs to be. Whoa, nearly contact between the two of them. Manning and Beeman managed to get away with it. We can jump to Copeland now, who is once again going to become a race winner. And Ken Copeland in lovely style tonight. He must have done the preparation. Wins from pole. Back to this fight. As is that the Mustang looking around the outside of the S's. Can't do it there. Is he going to try to send it into the final corner? It'll take some... No, not far enough. Not close enough, sorry. Walsh has finished second in Pro, Campbell third in Pro, and then that is your 1-2 across the line in the Open class. What a drive. Davenport's finished a lap down in the Ben category, and we're just awaiting Louis Rios to be your race winner in the Open class. Tyler Reid looks like he's got third place in the bank, so he finishes out the podium. Wallace and Kelly have crossed the line there. Davenport, Hicks and Uke have finished. But Louis Rios will win in the Ben category. That is Shelton behind P4 in Open. And we just await Tanner Masters to complete the podiums here today. Great bit of racing here in Canada. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. Absolutely fantastic to see. As your penultimate race of the season comes to an end with Ken Copeland, your pro and overall race winner. With Chris Walsh finishing second place, Rodney Campbell P3, Tyler Manning from Tyler Beeman. What a fight in that Open category. Fourth and fifth, but first and second in Open. Martin Wallace P6 with Tyler Reid finishing the Open podium. P8 was Gene Kelly, Louis Rios P9, and your race winner in Ben with Kyle Shelton rounding out the top 10. Brandon Mateo P11 with Tanner Masters P12. He was second place. Dan Fendick P13 with Richard Davenport completing the podium in Ben. John Hicks from Nolan Ukes. Jacob Little P17. Charles Boschel 18th. Jason Taylor from Brandon Leonard. And then it was Jonathan Leby, Robert Schwenkler and Christopher Pugliese rounding out the top 23 in this race. What a day it has been. We've got a few of the drivers in and we can speak with, first of all, Richard Davenport. Richard, P3 in the beneficiary class. Not a bad race from yourself. I believe there was the one mistake mid-race where you had a spin.
I didn't spin fully. I went off track a couple of times, especially right there coming through the last three corners. But yeah, I had some hairy moments, but it was a pretty tight field this week, so I was pretty happy with the result, all things considered.
Tight field on such a quick circuit where the lap times are very short. No real margin for error, is there?
No, not at all. Like one little mistake, and that's all it takes for this race, man. A lot of people are losing all positions for just minor mistakes. So.
And that seemed to be the pattern, didn't it, tonight? His drivers lost, sort of had a bit of momentum loss at some part of the track or other. How was the BMW out there tonight? Because it looked a pretty good car.
I enjoy the BMW a lot. It's not my normal car. Normally I'd race the Porsche, but I told myself I wanted to do something different and stick with it this season, so I'm stuck with the BMW. So I got 2 podiums this season, so I can't complain too much.
Exactly. We head to Virginia in a week's time. What's your thoughts on that one?
That's a tricky track as well. Probably same strategy, take lefts when I pit, and just see what I can do. I don't know.
And lastly, anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Ian for taking a break and giving us all, the rest of us beneficiaries, a chance. And I didn't want to gain a position by Nolan wrecking, man. But it gave me a podium, so I can't be too upset about it.
Indeed, you can't. Richard Davenport, P3, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And we can speak with P2 in that category. We can speak with Tanner Masters. We can bring him in. And the week that Ian Carney's not here, you think Tanner Masters, could be in for a race win. Second place.
Yeah, P2 is the finish for this week, unfortunately. Could have had a battle, but I kind of lost the car there early on.
Yeah, we caught a glimpse of that. It seemed like a lot of drivers were struggling with a similar sort of thing of the car just going a little bit light and losing the rear.
Yeah, it's funny because CTMP feels like one of those tracks where it's not like an if, but when. And we definitely saw that with a few cars, myself and Nolan included. So it was pretty rough out there today.
It was pretty rough, but you've still come away with that P2, still come away with that podium. So it's got to be a good feeling, I suppose, isn't it, at the end?
Yeah. I would have loved to pull the P1, especially because my battle buddy is not here this week. But I can't be upset. I can't be upset at all. But yeah, no, not a bad result at all.
Now, you was our driver in the spotlight tonight. Talk us a bit about these comic books. What kind of comic books do we do?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I make sci-fi comics. I'm about 30 pages into one right now. I primarily do like character art and then the cars, right? So I do a lot of the cars, like the Acura that you see now, and then there was a Mercedes early on in the season for Chris Walsh, but he ended up changing cars. But yeah, I just do a lot of sci-fi stuff and a lot of car art. So yeah.
Brilliant, fantastic work. Virginia next week. Thoughts on that one?
Heartbreaking. I couldn't get the day off, so I won't be. And I love VIR. I love it so much, but I couldn't pull the PTO, so I'm gonna miss VIR this season. So.
Well, Tanner, it's been an absolute pleasure to commentate on you. Anybody you'd like to thank last of all?
Yeah, just thanks to everybody at Otmo. Thanks to the guys that are at Sonoma. I'm excited to see them all tomorrow. And thanks to Ian for not being here and giving me at least the chance to fight for something. So thanks, guys.
It's been a brilliant season. Enjoy Sonoma this weekend. I'll be watching from wherever I can find a chance to watch Sonoma. I'm sure it's going to be a cracking weekend of racing for you guys. So make sure you enjoy that one. Is it for the American GTs?
Yeah. The GT World Champs or GT America? Yeah.
GT America. Yeah. Well, make sure you enjoy that one. And for the final time this season, then, Tanner Masters, congratulations, second place.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a good one. And we can bring in Louis Rios, and it seems like this is the just the beneficiary podium that we're going to get to speak to tonight. Louis, race win. I bet you didn't think that one coming into it tonight.
Matthew, I definitely did not think that was in the cards for tonight.
Obviously, Carney being away gave everybody in the beneficiary category a chance to grab a good result, and you took it.
I mean, realistically, we have to give a shout out to Ian's family for giving us a chance at the first place. Big shout out to them.
How was the Ford Mustang? Because you seemed like you was in a good fight with Nolan Uke. He was ahead at one stage, he got back in front, and it just seemed like you was constantly in a battle with each other.
It drove really fun in this track, but man, am I tired, dude. I mean, I feel like this was a bit more physical than some of the last ones. Or I don't know if I was just driving a little bit harder here, but I mean, yeah, you could really make a mistake and lose a lot of time here.
Seemed like a lot of drivers was doing that, and obviously I assume that mindset of P1, you don't want to, you're full concentrated, make sure to not make a mistake. Yeah, great win from you though. It was a really good race for the Ford Mustang and yourself in what has been a bit of an up and down season for yourself.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned it earlier on in the season. Consistency is going to be my biggest thing. That's kind of where I've been lacking as far as getting the practice laps in and really nailing down the track in the car. But preparation definitely helped in this one.
Indeed it did. We head to Virginia. We head to Virginia next week. What can you do around there?
Virginia's a tough track, so honestly, it's going to be, I don't know. We'll see what we can do in practice, like I said last time, because it's going to be hard to tell from what I did today.
Indeed,
very different, very different track.
Oh, completely different. And that's what's going to make it interesting, I think, the transition from this one to the next one. Lastly, anybody you'd like to thank?
Big thank you to Operation Motorsports, to Apex Racing, you guys for broadcasting and doing a fantastic job. I mean, this race, it's such a blast to be a part of. And of course, again, Ian's parents, Ian's family, thank you again for coming into town and pulling him away from racing and giving us a chance at this P1.
That's fantastic. Well, Louis Rios, you definitely capitalised on Ian being away. Congratulations on the race win, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Take care of yourself. That seems about it. Very short podium tonight. Got a little bit of time left, so we head to the season finale next week at Virginia. It's going to be an interesting race. We will be back live at the same time for any of the UK or European viewers. Remember, that will be an hour later. Our clocks go forward this weekend, which means we'll be 1 a.m. in the morning start time for us next week. So if you are in the UK or Europe watching, make sure you remember it is an hour later next week. For the final race of the season at Virginia, it's going to be a fascinating night of racing once again. And like some of the drivers said there, it is a completely different circuit. We go from one extreme to the other. I can't wait for that season finale in Virginia. But it's Ken Copeland who was your man who took victory today overall with yet another class drive from him. Louis Rios, your Ben winner, and Tyler Manning in the battle of the day with Tyler Beeman. It was a podium of the Tylers in the open category, and what a day it was for all of them. That probably is going to round out today's broadcast. Thank you once again to everybody in the comments section and in the live chat. Thank you everybody who has tuned in and watched this evening. Thank you to Jonathan for the brilliant camera angles once again and the replays. Without him, this wouldn't be possible to show you such of the amazing action and footage we have to bring to you, as well as all the overlays that we get to see, the timings, the track maps, everything that Jonathan puts up on screen. So big shout out to him on what has been an incredible season. But there's one more to go. That is at Virginia, and we'll catch you there next time. Goodbye.